One thing you're going to do differently next homeschool year? I'd love to hear. I just went away with my mom on a trip to Mexico to celebrate her birthday. It was just her and I. It's something I never do. Having a homestead makes traveling anywhere tricky. I did a lot of traveling with the kids as we homeschooled for about 7 years. We did so much that I actually was ready to settle down. So we did. And I've learned that when you leave anywhere, you get fresh perspective. Have you had the experience of leaving this summer and doing something outside your norm? Because I find this a really useful time for just perspective shifting. And it's really hard for me still to step away from what is routine. I love my work. I love my writing for homeschool moms, podcasting and coaching. I love all the things. So it was hard for me to step away, but it was powerful. Besides that, it was just plain fun. 2 full adult women hanging out together at a Mexican resort. Yeah, I know. It seems like it would be hard to believe, but soon enough your kids will grow and then you'll discover you too have more time. But I know that it's hard for me to step away, and it was even harder for me to step away when I was in your space. If you are a homeschool mom right now and you've got a bunch of kids underfoot, or you happen to be at a watering hole while you're listening to this, I feel you. It feels like those days were continuous, and those days were demanding, and I couldn't even think 2 thoughts in a row, let alone imagine that one day they would all grow up and move away, or most of them, 3 of my 4. And if we haven't already met, I'm Teresa Wiedrich. I'm the certified life coach. I'm a graduated homeschool mom of 4 kids, and I'm here to support you to shed what's not working so you can show up in your homeschool and your mom life more authentically, confidently, and purposefully. So I'm curious if you find it difficult to pause. I hear from moms all the time that we're just going to finish up the thing, whatever you're doing that you didn't finish up in the school year. Or we're going to just do some more projects. There's going to be project-based time, or so many possible ways of framing. I'm still going to think about homeschooling. And for the first few years, I did that exact thing. I didn't understand why anybody would actually want to do a full stop, because this is so much fun, and I can just prove to myself and the whole dang world that kids are learning with or without curriculum. Kids are learning throughout the summer, and look at the amazing things they're doing. And I still think whatever works for you, do that. But I did learn for myself that I needed a full stop. I needed to stop thinking about what they needed and what was the next thing that we should maybe pursue. And I really just needed a full mental break. And if you're with me, then I encourage you to do that this summer. In fact, I encourage you to maybe follow your own rabbit trails this summer, to invest in yourself this summer, to get to know who you are, what you're really all about, get to know the things that were challenging this last year that related to you and not really to your kids. Get to know your unrealistic expectations. Get to understand why you don't feel what you're doing is enough. Get to understand why you feel this compelling to do things perfectly. Get to understand why you're triggered in the way you are. If you invest your time this summer doing those things, you will accomplish far more in the upcoming year, and you will enjoy it more, and so will your kids. Can I hear an amen? I wish someone had said those words to me a long, long time ago, and it would have been hard for me to hear it, just so you know, because I had things to do and places to go and very cool learning adventures, and we did all those things. But I truly think that if you are in a tough place right now in your homeschool year, or it just didn't seem like it quite panned out the way you thought it should have, or you're really frustrated with something on routine, like the wind. Oh, it's funny. Oh, okay, I'll just roll with it. So if you are feeling in that place where there's a lot of emotion and it just wasn't what you quite thought because it was too intense, then I encourage you to take a break this summer. So even in my most traditional homeschool years, and I homeschooled for about 2 decades, I always stopped at around May. In the earlier years, I remember stopping when somewhere around May, and we go travel in May. But by the probably third or fourth year, I realized that the kids still needed to do a little bit of math during the summer to maintain some of the things that they were learning. And now, however you do it, if you are a classical unschooler or Charlotte Mason homeschooler, or you're an unschooler, it doesn't matter to me how you do it. I just know when you have kids underfoot, it's really tricky to make a full stop in your days. It's really tricky because there's a lot of people around, a lot of voices. For us, in May, we'd sit outside at a pond, very Charlotte Mason-esque. We'd sit outside at a pond, we'd read poetry, maybe we'd draw a few things, we'd narrate a Shakespeare play, we'd learn how to label plants, or, learn all about animal scat, aka harnessing my inner Charlotte Mason, although I don't know that she actually talks about animal scat, but you know what I mean. We did all those kinds of things, and yet I realized that we needed to actually do a full stop, even though those things were super cool, super fun. It was also the time of year that I switched gears and I did an assessment of what we were doing over the years, or over the months prior to that. So I didn't do it the way that I guide moms now to do it. It's far more detailed and a lot more comprehensive. It involves the mom and the homeschool kiddos' experiences, but I did an overview. I did like an assessment of what worked, what didn't, and I would really use it as a brainstorming tool to jump off and decide what I was going to do for the next homeschool year. So I actually want to invite you, I will in a little bit, invite you to a year-end review, which is really like a group coaching 2-hour session with me, and we're going to do exactly that. So I invite you to that. That'll come up in the next couple of weeks, and it will be time determined based on who attends and time zones and all those things. So if you want to do your upcoming homeschool year and your mom life as well, more on purpose, then I know from experience, and I'm sure you do too if you've been doing it long enough, that you need to take regular times to assess the same old routines, to shift out of what you've been doing and really get perspective again, just like I did last week. And so I know that summer can be a perfect time for us to really pause and reflect, but also it can be a time to get busier in a different way. So if you stick around here long enough, you're going to hear me speak about you following your own rabbit trails, you following your own curiosities, reconnecting with who you are. There's nothing more powerful in your homeschool mom life than figuring out who you are and what you need, what really matters to you, and then use that as a point of reference as to how you're going to engage your kids. It shifts everything, and it means that you're addressing your needs, and it means that you're enjoying all the process instead of resenting. Sometimes resentment builds up because we aren't addressing our own needs and somehow assume that our kids are going to help address them, except that's not what kids do. At least I haven't met that kiddo yet. Even the most malleable, most nurturing kids aren't thinking about your needs all the time. But I think this season can be a real beautiful time to reset your summer. It can be a reset for your upcoming year. So I'm curious, what is something that you'd love to let go of from this last year, from this past homeschool year? Just share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear. I am going from here to my podcast recording studio, aka my closet. And I'm going to be recording a podcast episode about the 5 overlooked mistakes that stress homeschool moms out. The ones that I see the most frequently, like pushing through even when we feel burned out, or believing we need to finish everything to feel successful, or neglecting our own needs, overscheduling or overcommitting, and forgetting to reflect before jumping into the next thing that we're going to do, like our upcoming year. These are things I think we often don't realize are dragging our energy. They're actually diminishing our ability to be joyfully present in our homeschool families. And we need to really pause and notice what's actually going on. So this is your opportunity to pause and reflect what's really going on. Have you noticed yourself doing any of those behaviors this past year without even realizing it? I'll do a deeper dive on those mistakes that I often see moms engage in on the podcast. My podcast is the Homeschool Mama's Self-Care Podcast. You'll see it up and released by tomorrow. I also want to invite you this summer. The reason I jumped on here today is because I typically show up on a Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, for the Homeschool Mom Chat. Since I just got back home, I didn't let you know in advance that I actually would be here, so that's why it's not quite 1 p.m. Pacific. But every week I'm intending to be here at 1 p.m. Pacific. You will know by Monday because I will let you know in the stories. And one of the reasons that I wanted to jump on here is to talk to you about summer school. I'm wondering if this is the right way to frame it. I actually think if I were to look back at my own experience, and when I look back, or when I look at other homeschool moms' experiences that I coach, oftentimes we get to the point where we hit a wall of feeling defeated or exasperated or resentful or overwhelmed or stressed or just done. And that's when people often reach out to me. And I'm glad for it because I'm delighted to walk alongside other moms so they can enjoy their lives more. However, we could actually prevent that. A little preventative health care. We could actually plan to address our needs and do a regular refresher. Address the things that weren't working in the past year so that we're truly prepped here for the next year. And so I invite you to summer school for homeschool moms, or at least this is how I'm going to phrase it right now. If you think that means that I'm going to help you get through, flipping fractions and figuring out how to figure out parabolas of things, no, definitely not. That will not happen. In fact, if my son was listening to me right now, he would be giggling that I even remembered some of those words. That is not the kind of summer school I'm encouraging for you. Over the next 7 weeks, both here on Instagram and in my Confident Homeschool Mom Collective every Friday, and on the podcast, the Homeschool Mama Self-Care Podcast, I'm going to be talking about the 7 challenges that homeschool moms often face and how to address them. I encourage you to focus in on just one and use one of the free resources that I offer, or come to that year-end workshop, or the other things that I'm going to offer in the summer, to focus in on one element of the challenges that you're experiencing over the last year, so that you can show up more refreshed on your first start day to your upcoming homeschool year. And if you happen to be an unschooler listening to this, well, just pick a random date as to when you want to know that you have addressed that thing, whether it's you not feeling like you're good enough, or feeling like you're burned out. Maybe you're resentful, or you're having a routine issue with one of your kids or with your partner, or any of the things I spoke to when I spoke about the 5 overlooked mistakes. If you are challenged by any of those things, you do not have to continue feeling those things. You really don't. I cannot tell you how many women I've worked with, because I actually can't remember the number. And also I'm in the process of still working with many women. So I work with women to help them shed what's not working. And we all have our different stories and we all have our different challenges, but it does not have to continue. It really does not have to continue. So you're welcome to join me for that year-end review workshop, which is really like a 2-hour group coaching session. There will not be more than 8 people at that group because I like to do a deep dive with people. And really it's going to be like your burnout prevention plan, but it'll also help you plan for the next year. You're going to access my printable wellness journal for homeschool moms and the Homeschool Mama Vision Planner. And if you haven't already checked those things out, you can find them over on Etsy or my website, capturingthecharmedlife.com. If you're curious about the workshop, just DM me and I will grab the link for you so you can get curious about that or figure out if that's the right thing for you. Also, if you know that a workshop is not a possibility in this next summer, then join me for the UBU checklist. It's a totally free checklist, and here is what it is. I have yet to come up with a more clever name. UBU means you as an authentic homeschool mom, when you're showing up as the fullest, truest you, when you're not afraid to do your homeschool or your life with intention and coming from the most true you, that is what this checklist is about, helping you go into that direction, becoming more you, because you're less resentful, you're less burned out, you are more creative, you're more alive, you're more present. Like, could you actually want anything more? This has been the pinnacle of my journey over the last 2.5 decades, around that. And certainly it wouldn't have had to happen in the homeschool concept or in the homeschool framework, but it is what I was doing for the last couple decades. So I know that experience, that becoming experience within the homeschool experience. And so I offer you the You Be You checklist. Just ask me for the You Be You checklist and I'll make sure you get it in your DMs. It is a journaling guide, and I'll attach a few emails to it to help you use it and to get clear on what you really need so that you can reclaim you. Tony Lynn shared with me, I just shared this in stories about the checklist. You can actually check it out there. And then you'll see me and my mom in Baja. So I'm going to keep the hat. Also, then I don't have to do my hair. But it's very summery, right? I didn't actually wear it at all in Baja. But anyways, you'll see it in stories. And so Tony Lynn had responded. She said this about that checklist. She said, I love this UBU checklist. Such a good reminder and helps us ground ourselves and fill us up for the next year. It helps us with our perspective and remembering our why for homeschooling. It breathes life back into our souls that just as tired and worn out as our kids feel by the end of the homeschool year, we often do too. Because our sense of self is so crucial in our role as mothers, because we live in a society in which we're praised for martyring ourselves in motherhood, we are then left depleted and resentful when we stay in that place and lose ourselves. I struggled in that place for a long while. It took me pulling way back and finding who I am at my core. Who am I outside of mother and wife and all the other roles I play? I think we lose ourselves a bit more when we are homeschool moms. Yeah, I think so too. And so we have little time for separation from our kiddos. And I say, amen, exactly. That pretty much summarizes why I'm here supporting you, actually. So thank you, Tony Lynn, for sharing your truth and also representing a whole lot of other moms' truths too. I know it to be true. I have literally walked alongside hundreds of moms over the last 4 years. And I started this entire coaching thing because I wrote my own book, Homeschool Mama Self-Care, Nurturing the Nurturer. And why did I write it? Because I thought that would probably be the one topic that would be most resonant for homeschool moms. And I have learned, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, question for you. I'm going to close by asking you this. Do you want to do next year differently? I know for sure that it's not new curriculum that's going to make some dramatic shift for you. It is not going to be about incorporating a new method or bringing them to a new co-op or anything whatsoever like that. It's not going to. It might cost you more money. Maybe you're going to make friends in a certain place, or maybe you're going to like a resource more, but it's not going to be the major transformative experience that we hope it will be. And also that's a very expensive approach to doing it. What I've learned is that the most significant impact that you can bring to a new homeschool year is you doing the work of you figuring out what's not working and shed what's not working. And that's what I do here. I help support you to shed what's not working so you can show up in your homeschool and your mom life more authentically, confidently, and purposefully. So I hope that some of these resources and this discussion has been an encouragement for you. I know you can homeschool next year with more purpose and more joy. And if this has been an encouragement for you, then I ask that you also share it with someone that you know might benefit too. Because I know that I hear stories all the time. I wish I knew that this was normal. Whatever this is, it's normal. Your experience is normal. Everyone's experiencing it. I know it because I'm listening to the stories. And if you don't want to continue to experience whatever challenges you've had in this past year, then this is my invitation to you to do something different, to shed what's not working. So join me this summer for Summer School for Homeschool Moms. And I look forward to getting to know you more, walking alongside you, supporting you to get a fresh perspective for your upcoming year. So in the comment section, would you let me know what you are hoping to reclaim or what you're looking to shed this summer before you prep for the upcoming year? Is it your time? Is it your inner voice? Is it your peace, your presence? I'd love to hear. And thanks for hanging out today. We'll see you next week.